When you choose silence, you're not backing down, you're loading up. Silence isn't absence, it's presence, controlled, calculated, intentional. It's not that you don't have something to say, it's that you're saving it for when it matters. In a world full of noise, distractions, and endless talking, silence becomes your edge. People will misinterpret it. They'll think you're weak, unsure, insecure. Let them, that's part of the game. Because while they waste energy trying to figure you out, you're putting in the work. Quietly, relentlessly, silence sharpens your focus. It puts a wall between you and the chaos. It allows you to hear the only voice that really matters, your own. The internal dialogue that tells you to keep pushing, to stay on course, to not break. You don't need to post about your grind. You don't need to announce your goals. You just execute, because warriors don't scream. They act. Operators don't boast. They finish the mission. You don't argue. You don't explain. You don't justify. You move, because silence is discipline in action. Every time you choose silence over reaction, you're taking control. You're training your emotions to obey your mission. And while others waste time debating, you're moving forward, one step, one rep, one decision at a time, forward always. They'll ask why you're so quiet. They'll wonder where you went. They'll talk. Let them. You're not gone. You're transforming. You're evolving, because silence isn't the absence of energy. It's its concentration, focused, condensed, lethal. The world doesn't need to see your work in progress. The world doesn't deserve that. They'll see the outcome. That's all they get. That's all they need. When you go silent, you start listening to the things that matter. Your instincts, your purpose, your pain. Pain speaks the truth, and silence gives it a voice. Not the fake kind of pain people post for sympathy. The real kind, the kind that builds warriors. You face it head on in silence, and you learn how to convert it into power, into strength, into drive, into your next move. This world wants to distract you, tempt you to shout back, argue, scroll endlessly, be seen, be validated. Don't take the bait. That's a trap. And you're not here to be seen, you're here to dominate. Let your routine do the talking, let your results deliver the speech, let your discipline make the noise, and remember, silence isn't empty, it's full of fire. Focus is power, raw, untamed, and unstoppable power. It's the one thing that separates the average from the elite. Not talent, not luck. Focus, the ability to lock in, to block out the noise, and direct every ounce of your energy toward one objective. That's where the breakthroughs happen. That's where transformation begins. Most people don't fail because they're weak. They fail because they're distracted. They spread themselves thin chasing 10 things and catch none. They start something, quit halfway, get bored, move on, but focus doesn't allow that. Focus demands discipline, it demands sacrifice. You've got to say no to comfort, no to convenience, no to everything that doesn't push you toward your mission. When you focus, you eliminate the unnecessary. You're not scattered, you're sharpened. You don't just work harder, you work smarter. You don't waste time explaining your vision to people who don't get it. You keep your head down, your mind locked in, and your momentum building. And when doubt creeps in, and it always does, you answer with action. Laser, sharp, unflinching action. Focus gives you clarity. You see things others miss. You anticipate. You prepare. You execute with precision. It's not about doing everything. It's about doing the right thing over and over with relentless consistency. You stop chasing everything and start building something. And while the world is obsessed with speed, you're committed to direction. Because direction beats speed every time, you become dangerous when you focus. Not because of what people see, but because of what they don't. They don't see the late nights. They don't see the early mornings. They don't see the quiet war you fight daily, but they feel the results. They feel the shift. That's what focus does. It speaks through results. There's a reason why champions train in silence. There's a reason why the greats don't have time to talk. They're too busy executing, because when you focus, you start to separate, not because you're better, but because you're committed. You've tuned out the opinions, tuned out the distractions, and tuned into the mission. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You just need to prove yourself right, every day, one rep at a time. One task at a time, one choice at a time, because focus doesn't just build outcomes. It builds character. It makes you stronger, sharper, hungrier. In a world that wants your attention, the real flex is giving it only to what matters. No scrolling, No gossip, no excuses, just tunnel vision, just execution, just the grind. Because when you focus, the impossible starts looking like a checklist. And when the mission is everything, distractions become nothing. Cut the noise, all of it, the doubt, the drama, the distractions. Cut the opinions of people who haven't built anything. Cut the envy, the cheap validation, the scrolling, the updates. Cut it all. Because every second you spend tangled in the noise, you're robbing yourself of progress. You're trading your focus for nonsense. You're handing over your potential to the meaningless. The noise is constant. It's everywhere. Social media, people's voices, trends, expectations. It tells you to compare, to compete, to doubt your timing. It tells you that you're not doing enough, not fast enough, not loud enough. But the truth, that's not your voice. That's the world trying to rent space in your head. And if you let it, it will destroy you. The mission doesn't care about noise. The mission requires clarity. And clarity only comes when you're willing to shut everything out. Lock in, dial down, tunnel vision. You don't need 100 opinions. You need one decision. Yours, the mission you chose, the standard you set. And every time you entertain the noise, you delay your outcome. Cutting the noise is not passive. It's war. It's saying no to everything that doesn't align. No to gossip. No to distractions. No to mediocrity disguised as entertainment. It's not just silence. It's tactical silence. It's calculated isolation. Because focus lives in stillness. Power lives in stillness. And you can't hear your own instincts if the world keeps screaming over them. People will talk. Let them. They'll say you've changed. Let them. They'll wonder why you don't show up, why you're not posting, why you don't respond. Good. Confuse them. While they talk, you build. While they argue, you execute. That's how you win quietly, aggressively, without permission. The more noise you cut, the more energy you reclaim. You stop reacting. You start acting. You stop explaining. You start executing. Your path becomes clear not because the world makes sense, but because you decided to stop listening to it. You decided that your vision is worth more than their approval. You want to build something real, something that lasts. You better get used to silence. You better get comfortable with solitude, because real growth is noisy on the inside but quiet on the outside. The internal war is loud, but outside, all they see is calm, discipline, and relentless consistency. That's the paradox. That's the process. Cut the noise and you'll hear the truth. You'll hear the truth that you're capable, that you're built for this, that the work, the pain, the setbacks, they are part of it. You'll hear the sound of your next rep, your next step, your next win, and that sound, it's far more powerful than anything the outside world could ever offer. So tune in, lock in, and cut the damn noise. You owe them nothing, not your energy, not your time, not your explanations. The world will try to make you believe you're supposed to justify your silence, your ambition, your boundaries, but you don't. You owe no one a roadmap to your grind. You owe no one comfort at the cost of your calling. You didn't come this far to please everyone. You came to conquer what's yours. People expect access. They expect updates. They want to know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how it benefits them. But this journey, it's yours. You're not obligated to slow down so someone else feels better. You're not required to carry dead weight just because someone knew you before you evolved. Growth demands distance, and sometimes that distance is permanent. You don't need to apologize for your discipline. You don't have to shrink for the comfort of others. You don't need to explain why you work when others party, why you train when others sleep, why you disappear while others post. The mission doesn't need validation. It needs execution. Let them misunderstand. Let them talk. That's not your concern. You owe them nothing. Not your story, not your wounds, not your plans. You don't need to prove your pain. You don't need to prove your progress. You don't owe anyone access to your inner war. They didn't fight your battles. They didn't stay up on those sleepless nights. They didn't get back up when you were broken. You did. So why do you feel the need to explain yourself? The truth is, when you start rising, people will question your silence. They'll call you cold, distant, arrogant. Let them. The noise only grows louder when you start leveling up. Because your growth threatens their comfort. Your self-respect feels like rejection to people who only valued your compliance. But you're not here to make them comfortable. You're here to become something unshakable. You owe yourself everything, your loyalty, your consistency, your sacrifice. But them, nothing. Not if they haven't earned it. Not if they're only watching, never building. This life is not a show. It's not a performance. It's a war zone, and in war, you don't explain strategy to the enemy. You just move, quiet, fast, ruthless. Stop asking for permission to prioritize yourself. Stop explaining why your standards are higher now. You've earned the right to protect your energy, to shield your vision, to guard your peace. You've earned the right to walk away without a speech. You've earned the right to stay silent when your work speaks volumes. You owe them nothing, and that's not selfish. That's survival, that's clarity, that's power. So hold the line, stay the course, and never trade your purpose for their approval. Grind in private, rise in public. That's the code. That's how warriors are made. Not under spotlights, not in front of crowds, but in the dark, when no one's watching, when there's no applause, no recognition, no likes, just pain, just repetition. Just discipline, that's where it happens. That's where greatness is born. People want the results without the process. They want to shine without the sacrifice, but that's not how this works. You don't get to skip the suffering. You don't get to fake the grind. Real growth is forged in silence. When the world thinks you're resting, you're building. When they think you're done, you're doubling down, quietly, relentlessly. There's no need to tell them what you're working on. No need to prove anything. Let them sleep on you. Let them doubt you. While they talk, you train. While they party, you work. While they scroll, you move in silence. Because one day when the results show up, they won't be able to ignore it. They'll wonder how it happened. You'll know. It happened when no one was paying attention. This isn't about showing off. It's about showing up every single day. No excuses, no shortcuts, just consistency. You build your mindset when the alarm goes off and you get up anyway. You build your body when you push through that last rep no one sees. You build your character when you keep going after failure, when no one claps for your resilience. Grind in private, because that's where you earn it. That's where you bleed, struggle, fail, and rise again. You don't broadcast every step because this isn't a performance. It's a transformation. You're not here for attention. You're here for results. And when those results come, they speak louder than any caption ever could. Rising in public isn't about showing people how good you are. It's about proving what's possible. It's not arrogance. It's the manifestation of years of unseen effort. The public rise is just the reflection of private war. You've been through the fire. You've suffered in silence. You've earned every inch. So when it's time to rise, you don't need to say a word. They'll feel it, the discipline, the pain, the sacrifice. It all stacks up, day by day, rep by rep, choice by choice, and one day the world catches up. They finally see what you've been building all along. But by then, it's too late for them to question you. The work has spoken, the results are undeniable, so stay low, stay focused. Let your actions build the momentum, let your effort lay the foundation. You don't need a stage to validate your grind. You don't need the spotlight to define your worth. You've got something better: clarity, mission, purpose. Grind in private, rise in public. That's the only way. Self-investment is non-negotiable. If you want to be more, do more, achieve more, you have to pour into yourself first. You can't expect results from effort you didn't give. You can't expect to lead, to grow, to dominate if you're constantly running on empty. Your mind, your body, your discipline, those are your assets. And the truth is, no one else is going to build them for you. No one's coming to save you. That's your job. That's your responsibility. You spend time scrolling, comparing, watching others rise. But when was the last time you poured into your own development? When was the last time you trained your mind like your life depended on it? When was the last time you read something that made you better? The difference between who you are and who you want to be isn't luck. It's reps, it's hours, it's deliberate daily self-investment. This world will drain you. Every scroll, every click, every toxic conversation. It chips away at your potential. That's why you have to be ruthless about where your time and energy go. Cut the noise, guard your mind, because what you feed your mind determines what your mind feeds you. You want confidence, earn it. You want strength, build it. You want clarity, create it. And that starts with showing up for yourself every single day. Investing in yourself isn't about ego, it's about preparation. It's about becoming the type of person who doesn't break under pressure, who doesn't fold in the storm. You train because life is war. You read because you refuse to be ignorant. You move your body because weakness is not an option. And when others sleep in, when they slack off, You show up, not for applause, but because the standard you hold yourself to doesn't allow anything less. You'll hear people say that's selfish. Let them talk. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't lead if you're lost. You can't win if you're weak. If that makes you selfish, so be it. This path requires you to be laser-focused, to protect your time, to train with intent, to eat, think, move, and live with purpose. This isn't a hobby, this is war. The investment isn't always flashy. It's in the early mornings. It's in the books no one else reads. It's in the extra reps no one else sees. It's in the discipline when no one else is watching. Those small, quiet choices, they compound, they stack up, and they forge something inside you that can't be bought, borrowed, or faked. One day, the world will see the results, but long before that, you'll feel them in how you move, in how you think, in how you dominate when others doubt. And when that day comes, remember, you didn't get lucky. You got focused, you didn't wait, you trained, because self-investment was never optional. It was the foundation. Discipline over attention, that's the mindset. In a world obsessed with likes, views, and validation, discipline stands alone, quiet, focused, undefeated. While others chase the spotlight, discipline chases the standard, and that's the difference between those who talk about greatness and those who become it. Attention is cheap, it's everywhere. You can get it by yelling louder, showing off more, or pretending to be someone you're not. But discipline, that's earned, that's forged in discomfort, built in silence. It doesn't care who's watching. It only cares that the work gets done. Attention fades, discipline compounds, attention feeds the ego. Discipline builds the soul. Most people want to be seen more than they want to improve. They're addicted to being noticed. They'll skip the reps if no one's filming. They'll quit early if no one's clapping. But warriors, we don't train for the crowd. We train for the war. We don't show up because it looks good. We show up because it's who we are. Discipline isn't something we turn on when it's convenient. It's who we are when no one's watching. Every day you have a choice. Chase the dopamine of attention or embrace the grind of discipline. One gives you a moment, the other gives you a legacy, and legacies aren't built in applause. They're built in repetition. In doing the hard thing again and again, without recognition, without reward, just because it needs to be done. The disciplined don't care if they're overlooked. They don't care if they're misunderstood. They know what they're building. They trust the process. They don't need motivation. They've got mission. They don't need validation. They've got vision. And while the world scrolls, they sprint. While the world talks, they train. That's how they win, slowly, silently, completely. Attention chases followers. Discipline creates leaders. Attention wants to look the part. Discipline becomes it. And the truth is, when you choose discipline long enough, the attention comes. But by then, you don't even need it. Because your identity isn't built on applause, it's built on action. You want to be great? Start choosing discomfort over attention. Start choosing structure over chaos. Wake up early, train hard, eat clean, stay sharp. Not because it looks cool, but because it's necessary. Because the mission demands it. Because the standard isn't optional. No shortcuts, no performances, just discipline, day after day. No matter how you feel, that's how legends are made. Not in the highlight reel, but in the hours no one sees. The early mornings, the late nights, the discipline in between. The world will always choose attention. Let them. You're here for more. You're here to dominate the path less traveled. So let them chase likes. Let them chase noise. You chase greatness. You chase purpose. You chase the version of yourself that only discipline can unlock. Let the results speak. That's the silent declaration of a warrior who's done with excuses and empty words. Talk is cheap. Anyone can promise. Anyone can hype themselves up. But the real power lies in the outcome, in what you create, in the evidence of your grind. When you let your results do the talking, you remove doubt. You erase questions. You command respect without saying a word. Results don't lie. They don't care about feelings, distractions, or opinions. They are the undeniable proof of your discipline, your sacrifice, and your commitment. When you show up every day and do the work, the results stack up, slowly, steadily, without fanfare. And when they finally reveal themselves, there's no argument, no debate, just undeniable truth. People will ask for explanations, for reasons, for validations. They want stories, excuses, justifications, but you don't owe anyone that. Your job isn't to convince or persuade, it's to execute, to show up, to put in the reps when no one's watching, to keep grinding when the world is distracted by noise. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is what you've built. Let your results speak louder than your fears. Let them drown out the doubt. Let them silence the critics. When you're consistently grinding, you build momentum that no one can stop. The results become your voice, the loudest, clearest, most powerful voice there is. They tell the story of late nights, early mornings, missed comfort, and relentless focus. You don't need to explain your journey. You don't need to justify your methods. You don't need to seek approval. The results show up regardless of applause. They show up whether anyone's watching or not. And when those results arrive, they carry weight. They open doors, they shift perceptions, they change lives. Let the results speak also means trusting the process. Trusting that your efforts, even when unseen, are creating the foundation for success. It means having patience when the world demands instant gratification. It means understanding that real achievement is built over time, day by day, choice by choice. When you let your results speak, you reclaim control. You stop wasting energy on explaining, defending, or justifying. You focus solely on action, on progress, on becoming the best version of yourself. Because results are undeniable, they don't fade, they don't waver. They stand as permanent proof that you showed up, you fought, and you won. So keep your head down, keep pushing, keep grinding. Let your sweat, your scars, your consistency become the language you speak. Because at the end of the day, it's not about how loud you shout. It's about how loud your results roar.